Chapter 44. Coach Gabriel introduces Seo Moon to the team as their newly recruited player, and Seo Moon also introduces himself, as if he's literally not the boss of all the people present there. He smiles, mentioning how he is a rookie in front of them, and will hope that they'll do their best in working with him and producing good results. Although this sounds like a positive message, Seo Moon's expressions and tone make it sound like a threat. Gabriel announces that Seo Moon will join them, starting from the next match, while the team applauds, but the tension can be felt from afar since even though they have a 100% chance of winning, the mere thought of having Seo Moon Yup in the same team as them is scary. After settling through the roleplay of introduction, Gabriel starts the briefing about the first match of the postseason. Their first rival is going to be Incheon BC, the opponents against whom Nayeon and Sungho debuted. Although they have a history of losing against the Czech strategy of YSM, they must be working hard to succeed against YSM and that strategy. He then mentions Incheon DC recruiting a new player, just as a response to dealing with the YSM, as the player does not carry extraordinary traits except one. That his special ability is tracking. Once he puts an eye on his targets, he can identify what position they are in and keep track of their movements. He has the ability to do it for 5 players simultaneously. The only condition is he must have seen them before, which he obviously will before the match. The player is Han Sung-yeop. Seo Moon mentions keeping an eye on his matches, since even with his eyes of analysis, he couldn't find anything special in him, and the tracking ability makes it very obvious that the sole reason for tracking him was to counter against YSM. Gabriel agrees that even if he is a weak player, this one ability of his can serve devastating to them since Yeon Bom's whole job is to hide in the shadows, and Jo Sung-ho has to take care of supplies from afar. And tracking them both would be damaging to their scheme of play. In comparison, Jo Seong-ho can deliver a lot of supplies and work from a range, but his ability of detection is limited to a specific range, whereas Sun Yeop can immediately spot his target, wherever it is. So on the battlefield, Incheon BC is going to have an advantage against their Czech strategy. Suangho questions that now that Seo Moon is on the team, aren't they going to use a different strategy by relying on him? Gabriel mentions that the strategy and team layout will remain the same, and the only difference will be Seo Moon replacing Choi Jungmin. The team is reluctant as the news, wondering if using a big card like Seo Moon in this strategy would be a waste. But they are surprised to know that it was Seo Moon who personally requested this role. Seo Moon mentions how he always wanted to try out this position. It has always been a hot topic who the strongest superhuman is, and it's not only considering the top 3 professionals, but also players like Gerald Walker and Chi-Chi Lucas. Ironically, the Korean media stays silent in this debate, since most of their world saviors retired and Seo Moon was considered dead, so he was not used as part of the debate. The people on the internet are debating all the time with each other by either defending their country or defending their favorite player. In the top rankings, Nathan Gilbert stands first, which has pissed many people from other countries. But Nathan himself said in an interview that if Seo Moon was alive, he would have won against him. Most of the Korean comments either talk about how Baek Je-ho should be a player, rather than a coach, or how Seo Moon would have been on the list if he were alive. But now that the biggest superhuman in the world is back alive and in his prime, the debate has turned into a new uproar, where people now are sure that the argument should end with Seo Moon Yup being the best and strongest superhuman. But the debate didn't die since Seo Moon has been a real superhero, and the discussion is about the battlefield, so nobody knows if he'll turn out to be a pro on the battlefield as well. With the debut of the legendary superhero, the first game of the postseason became the center of attention for the entire world. The narcissist inside Seo Moon awakens once again at the cheers for him, but he expresses boredom for his fame, sounding like an annoying brat. The Incheon team is scared at the unfairness of having to face the Seo Moon Yup, while YSM is already sure they've won. As Seamoon analyzes the time, he finds no one interesting but Han Sungyop. Right before that H starts, Seamoon meets Sungyop and asks if he's one of his targets, which Seamoon sure is. Seamoon leaves with a warning that Sungyop is his target too, leaving the rookie all fearful. As the game starts, everyone is shocked that YSM is still going for the same check play. Inchinsi is surprised at this, and the fact that Seamoon is still at the spawn, but still thinks they'll be able to manage against it, since they used hunting to increase their aura, which could give them a little time to compete with Seamoon. But the plans of their captain are short-lived when out of nowhere an arrow strikes towards him, shocking him, since Sungyop guided that there's no one near, but that's not the worst part. The spear wasn't actually aimed at the captain, but at Sungyop. So, in an instant, Inchinbc's greatest weapon against YSM is down, and from a distance of 3 km, Seamoon Yop earns his first kill by using Yeonbyum's vision relay. Chapter 45. As the Inchinbc processes where the spear came from, another spear appears, earning Seamoon Yup 3 kills. As the captain of Team 1 addresses Team 2 that Seamoon is headed their way, another spear is shot, but it doesn't hit anyone, or so Team 1 thought. Chaos rises in the order of the 2 teams of Inchinbc as players of both sub-teams are being killed by Seamoon, showing as if he's approaching either of them, while having no idea where Seamoon actually is. Meanwhile, Mr. Seamoon Yup is enjoying this chaos from 3 kilometers away. A few days before the match, Seamoon has a session with Seongho where he tells him that he has the ability to hit his target accurately from a distance of 2 kilometers. But this is his restriction to clear vision. He can throw further if he has a clear vision of a farther distance. This is where Seongho's ability of vision relay comes to play. Even though it's hard to make attacks from afar while using someone else's line of sight, but of course, Seamoon is confident that he can do that. So all Seongho needs to do is go to the top, where all his enemies are visible, and then relay that vision to Seamoon. As Seongho reaches his position, Seamoon is amazed at how the vision relay works, but cannot accurately see at a distance. So he suggests Seongho use binoculars, which makes his field of vision even broader. Seamoon decides to try and hit a tree at that distance to improve his throwing skills with the vision relay. And even at first shot, he throws at a good proximity of the tree. Then trial by trial, Seamoon easily manages to hit the tree. Seamoon also shows his teammates his trump card of being able to call back his spears from wherever he has thrown them. As the rest of the team observes how conveniently Seamoon adjusted himself to hit the target by using Seongho's vision, they think he has some godlike talent, while Gabriel mentions it being a gift of God. Sure that Seamoon will win the Kill of the Year award this time. As the match starts, nobody can believe his eyes. Even Baek Ja-ho is shocked that the direction of his attack and the vision he is looking at is completely different, yet he's able to attain perfect kills with that. Joho thinks of all the times he wrote about his dead friend Seamoon and his ability to hit targets from afar and defeat monsters after being blinded by some magic upon which he was called a liar. But now everyone can see it's very much true. But even Joho wonders if he has always been able to call back his spear. Team 2 of Inchinbc announces that the attacks from a distance must be weak, so they should just be aware and try to avoid, but this tempts Seamoon even more, that people are underestimating him, so he decides to use his attacks, this time to hunt down all the wyverns Inchimps was aiming at. Team 1 is also in panic at the situation, and the captain announces for the team to regroup and form a new plan, but another arrow strikes them. It lands near a woman player of Inchinbc who thinks she barely survived the spear attack. But then a creepy peekaboo appears from the shadows of the spear, being none other than Mr. Yeonbyum. Chapter 46. The woman isn't even given enough time to recover from the shock of Yeonbyum suddenly appearing in front of her before she is killed by him. Seomoon grins at the so-called pros of Inchin-Z, who forgot the existence of other YSM members just for fear of him. Seomoon decides to keep targeting the enemy from afar, while the rest of the team wraps things up with the match. The match is won by YSM with a clear victory, and obviously, the MVP of this match is Seomoon Yup, with his 4 kills and 7 assists. Everyone cheers for Seomoon after the match. Gabriel comes to him praising him for his amazing work, and telling him that the audience is going crazy for him. Being a narcissist, Seomoon is obviously amused by his stardom, but acts like it's too much. The next stage of their match is the dungeon called 1,000 Bridges. It is a dungeon with quite literally 1,000 bridges, but it's very hard to tell which bridge is real, which is weak, and which bridge is just an illusion, and a fall down would lead to direct death, so it is also called the newbie killer, since it's the hardest for the newbies to maintain their attention span on using the right bridge, along with playing well. As YSM starts the play, they are seen to be making good progress against the Arachne, but the situation seems to toughen up at the appearance of the ghost spiders. The ghost spiders are known to trap their targets in their web until it turns the cocooned player into a zombie. Seomoon looks at the transition of the dead bodies into zombies and recalls his fancy past events about his mates disappearing during the wars, and then randomly appearing out of cocoons. The rest of the team feels kinda troubles by how casual this story is to Seomoon, while it definitely sounds dramatic. Coming out of the memories, Seomoon asks his teammates to take care of the zombies while he deals with the 8 ghost spiders present. He brings out 8 spears and fights all the ghost spiders at the same time. The rest of the team looks at their president, feeling anxious at why he looks so happy while literally fighting off monsters. Everyone is amazed by how fast Seomoon completed his hunt, while Seomoon asks Seongho to give him some of his aura, so he uses Aura Relay to do that without any questions. Seomoon takes his aura until it's perfect for his need, when suddenly YSM is disturbed by the commotion around them. Inchin-Z has completely surrounded YSM in the center, making Seongho worried about what should they do next, while the captain of the opponent brags about remembering all the safe bridges and putting out their resources to successfully trap them, so they have an advantage against YS. But of course, it's easier said than done when it comes to dealing with the legendary superhero, Seomoon Yup. Seomoon cuts his opponent off by mock acknowledging him for trying to use his empty head for once. All of a sudden, Seomoon's expressions become sadistically dark, and he mentions showing everyone how free fall feels like. This confuses the opponent while Seomoon continues with an evil grin that he doesn't remember calling back his spears. Everyone is frustrated, yet baffled at what Seomoon has planned now, as Seomoon tells them that if he recalls his spear, they'll come back at the same speed they're thrown at. And with that amount of force, every point where his spear is hit will break. As soon as it is mentioned, everyone, whether it's Inchin-BC or YSM, is falling due to the floor breaking. At this point, even the YSM members are screaming at what's happening. Back before the match starts, Dongjun is seen to be in extreme panic as he hears what Seomoon is suggesting, and as much as he wants to put blind faith in Seomoon, he is having a hard time making it make sense. Seomoon asks him to calm down and listen to his entire plan. Seomoon shares how he wants to stay at a safe place where they can lure Inchin-BC into thinking that it's easy to attack them, but Dongjun's panicked state cuts Seomoon off, once again thinking about how the fall would lose his team members unless everyone memorizes which bridges are real. Seomoon's nerve pops out on the forehead, but he chooses a calm way to silence Dongjun as he starts listing the numbers of bridges, and if they are real, weak, or an illusion. This successfully shuts Dongjun up, as he is unable to believe that Seomoon managed to memorize all 1,000 of the bridges, so Seomoon controls his anger, and finally proceeds with his plan, without any further interruptions, and mentions how he'll make sure that all his teammates fall on real bridges, while the opponents fall on the bait bridges. As the plan succeeds in saving all the YSM members, this doesn't seem enough for Simoon, as he doesn't want his opponents to die off a fall. But he wants to earn some kills. He assures everyone that he'll take care of them before they reach the ground, and won't let them die off the height, and just as he promised, he succeeds in killing all 6 of the falling opponents while being mid-air. Like a boss, Seo-moon smoothly transitions from 1 kill to 2 to 4, all while his poor opponents are falling, and he finally earns the 6th kill by treating the poor last opponent as a human surfboard before killing him off. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to watch more videos like these, turn on notifications, and leave a like and comment to help the channel out. From researching and scriptwriting to editing and mastering our best manhwa review channel, I will work hard to roll out the highest quality manhwa entertainment videos twice or more a week. If you like what I do here, please consider supporting the channel. To learn more about how to support the channel, check out the link in the description box down below. And if you can't give or simply don't even feel like it, that's okay too. I'm just happy you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next video. For now, peace.